A journalist, her name's Kavita, was interviewing me for the South China Morning Post. We were talking about my journey, the 2020 layoff, the viral videos, and this community we built right here. And just before we finished the interview, she asked me a question that completely stopped me in my tracks. She asked, "Dana, how do you actually help people get back on their feet?" And I just sat there. I awkwardly struggled through the answer, but just the other morning, I woke up and I knew the answer I should have said was, the way I help people get back on their feet is that I give them hope. I think through the sharing of my story, you realized that you could do it too, or that you have done it already and shared your story with us, and you have given us hope. I have reverse engineered my own journey from being laid off at 55 to finding my purpose at 61. Here are 4 fairly simple steps to help you find your path. Step 1, find your own way. When you lose your footing, whether it's a layoff, a health scare, or a sudden loss of purpose, or losing someone, your whole world has changed and it's very disorienting. You're probably dealing with feelings of loss, sadness, anger, loneliness. I've heard the best thing to do is just take some time, take a pause, and let yourself breathe. Now, I was angry after I got laid off. Yes, it was 2020 during lockdown, and I had only been with this new company for about 6 months, so I was pretty low on the totem pole. And my mom just passed away a few months before, so I was still dealing with this loss. The best thing for me was to take some time to absorb everything. But I did the opposite. I immediately looked up jobs on Indeed.com. I emailed and texted past coworkers and managers. All of my emotions were too much for me to sit with. I felt that I needed to take action. This is what I did, and that's not what people necessarily recommend. I did the opposite of what experts suggest, and while I made it through, I want to give you the permission that I didn't give myself, the permission to just be still. So rather than choosing stillness, I chose action. And we have to be careful that we're not panicking and making choices based on fear, which actually makes you see things very unclearly. I ended up getting a few freelance gigs, which was fine, but maybe if I didn't act so quickly, I could have seen my better path more quickly. Then there are those who go too far the other way. They take a pause, but they never end it. This is the danger of getting stuck in that stillness. If you stay in that pause too long, it stops being a reset and starts being a retreat. You start to hide from the world and your confidence begins to rot. If you feel that frantic urge to fix it all today, ask yourself, are you moving toward a goal, or are you just running away from the pain? If you find yourself in this situation, try this. Don't make any decisions for a couple of days. No job applications, no big purchases, no decluttering. Just breathe and let the adrenaline drop. And then see if you're thinking more clearly. It's amazing how time smooths things over. It allows your brain to get out of fight or flight or panic mode. And when you think that hurt will never go away, it gets weaker and softer with time. After that pause, see what you can do, but don't stay in it for too long. If you're a take action person like me, contact a friend, a loved one, look at job boards but don't apply. Go to the gym and work out your frustrations. Don't plan on solving all your problems right away, but instead, deal with your emotions. Step 2, archive your way to the next path. After you've taken a pause and the panic has started to soften, you're going to find that your mind is still very crowded. On one side is clinging. You try to hold on to every piece of your old life because you're afraid that if you let go, you'll disappear. On the other side is erasing. You're so hurt or angry that you want to throw everything away and pretend that chapter of your life never happened. That was me after I was laid off. The archive is the next step. It's not about throwing your history in the trash. It's about moving it from your active workspace to a place of honor on the shelf. You aren't losing yourself. You're simply making room for the person you are becoming. How do you do this? One way is by journaling. Writing things down gets it out of your head and onto the page. Psychologists call this externalization. When a thought is inside your head, it feels like it is you. When you write it down, it becomes an object you can look at. You might have heard of morning pages, a practice where you write 3 pages of stream of consciousness every single morning. It doesn't have to be pretty or even make sense. Its only job is to take the mental clutter and pin it to the paper so that it stops looping in your brain. Whether you use morning pages or my keepsake journaling method, the goal is the same. Be messy. Scribble, scratch things out, add a photo or draw. This isn't a book for anyone else to read. It's a tool for you to reflect, record, and move on. I recently did this myself in a video for my Ikigai Circle membership. I was saving a bag of numbered clothespins I use for my thrifting business. They were part of my inventory system. They represented 5 years of hard work. I was holding on to them just in case I changed my mind about exiting my business. But holding on to them was like keeping a party dress that doesn't fit anymore. So I wrote about them. I wrote about the pride I took in my inventory system and my business. But I also wrote about how tedious and exhausting that work had become. By archiving the memory of those clothespins in my journal, I was able to honor the business I built without having to keep the actual weight of it in my closet. After I made that journal entry, I know I made the right choice. Not only am I able to declutter and donate those clothespins, but I was able to make a final decision about my thrifting business. If you had to archive one of your past roles today, not because it was bad, but because it's finished, what would it be? Is it a job title? Is it a version of yourself that felt successful in a way that doesn't fit anymore? Imagine putting that roll in a beautiful display case. How does that feel, putting that part of you to rest? Step 3, low-risk experiments. Now that you've paused and archived the past, you're standing in a wide open space. There are 2 extremes that can stop you here. One is paralysis. You're so afraid of making the wrong choice that you do nothing at all. The other is the life sentence. You think your next move has to be your forever purpose. This next step is the low-risk experiment. It's about being curious and trying something new. When you try something new, your body releases endorphins. Unlike the sugar rush of a phone notification, endorphins are your body's natural way of easing stress and building resilience. They prove to your brain that you're capable of more than just surviving. You're capable of learning. Imagine you're standing on the bank of a wide, foggy river. You want to get to the other side, but you can't see the path. You don't try to leap across the whole river in one jump. That's just crazy. Instead, you look for a stepping stone. A stepping stone is a place to put your foot for a moment while you look for the next stone. Each stone gets you closer to the center of the river where the fog starts to lift. For me, my stones were a taiko drumming group and hip-hop classes at the gym. I wasn't going to be a professional dancer or drummer, but those classes proved to me that I was still a student capable of learning, even when I felt like I had lost my professional identity. Back when I started my thrifting business, I didn't start with a big investment. I bought $8 worth of used clothes at the Goodwill bins. I sold those items at local shops and used that profit to buy more items, and it just kept on compounding. I was building a bridge to a new life, one stone at a time. I even thought about doing Instacart and grocery shopping for others during lockdown. It wasn't about a lifelong career change. It was about proving to myself that I was still capable of being useful and generating my own income on my own terms. Looking back, I realized that these were my low-risk experiments helping me to get across that river to the other side. This is where your Ikigai begins to breathe again. In the West, we often make Ikigai too complicated with a 4-circle diagram focusing on your career as the source of your purpose in life. But in Okinawa, it's much simpler. It's just 2 factors: what brings you joy and what you do every day. When you're starting over, your daily life might feel empty or heavy. By trying these low-risk experiments, you're actively searching for things that bring you daily joy. You're looking for a reason to get out of bed tomorrow morning. You're asking, does volunteering at my local food bank bring me joy? Does taking a walk every day make me feel better? If the answer is yes, you've found a piece of your Ikigai. What's a tiny curiosity you've been ignoring because it didn't feel productive? A pottery class? A walking group? What is one stepping stone you could try this week? We aren't trying to reach the other side of the river today. We're just looking for one place to put our foot. Step 4, finding your enough. The maximizers trap studies show that maximizers, those who feel they must have the absolutely best of everything right now, are often more stressed than people who feel content with what they have. But here's the catch. Enough isn't just about what we have today. It's also about tomorrow's safety. I have to be honest with you about why I take my finances really seriously. I watched my mother reach age 81 and then require specialized care. She had what I thought was a sizable retirement fund, but I saw how quickly illness can wipe that out. Her funds only lasted about a year and a half. Here's what happened. My mom needed to recuperate after surgery, and she went to a nursing home that Medicare covered. However, this place didn't give my mom the best care. When my mom became septic while staying there, we decided to maximize this last chapter of her life. After she somewhat recovered, we moved her to a really nice nursing home, one that gave her the best care. It was very expensive and drained her retirement in a year and a half. If my mom had survived longer, we would have had to move her to a more affordable nursing home. And it was so hard to think of her no longer receiving such good care. That experience is why I still take my finances seriously. I'm not chasing wealth for a fancy car, but I'm growing a safety nest. For me, that means being an active investor and knowing that I have the equity in my home as a backup. Whether it's a fund or a property you're willing to sell one day, having a plan for your tomorrow is what allows you to have peace today. Now, I know that everyone's situation looks different. I've shared a bit about my assets and finances, but I know that for some of you, the pandemic or a health crisis took everything. If you're starting at zero, peace of mind might feel like a luxury you simply can't afford right now. But I want you to know, resourcefulness is a form of wealth. Getting back on your feet means being a strategic researcher for your own life. If the private safety net isn't there, we need to look to community safety net. There is no shame in using the tools that were built to catch us when we fall. In fact, there's power in saying, I am going to use every resource available to ensure I'm safe and cared for. When you tap into these services, you are lowering the height of the mountain you have to climb. You're making your enough smaller so that you can reach it faster. If you're struggling to find what exactly is enough for you, your first low-risk experiment might be researching resources available to you. Social Security and Medicare ensure you are maximizing what you've earned. Offices on aging, most counties offer help with property tax breaks, transportation, and home repairs. Food and housing assistance. Using a food pantry or SNAP benefits or researching Section 202 senior housing isn't a sign of failure. It's a smart way to stretch your money so you have something for the future. Let me define the peace of mind plan. It's about two things: your daily minimum. What do you need to live comfortably today? This is your basic needs. And then there's preparing for tomorrow. What do you need to feel safe about tomorrow? When you have a plan, the big scary future starts to feel more manageable. So today's task is to calculate your daily minimum. What is the bare minimum you need to be safe, fed, and happy? Look at your expenses and your community resources. Knowledge is power. This will help you prepare for tomorrow. Kavita's question was a gift because it reminded me that starting over isn't a giant leap. It's a series of small steps, full of gentle pauses, reflection, and low-risk experiments. I know these 4 steps covered a lot of ground, so if you would like more clarity, let me know. I can do more videos as well as provide a workbook to go over the steps. If there's enough interest, I can work on providing this in the near future. We've covered a lot today, so here's a quick recap of the 4 steps. Step 1, find your own way of taking a pause. Give yourself permission to breathe and assess where you actually stand without fight or flight. Step 2, archive your past. Look back to move forward. What did you lose? What did you keep? Honor the old version of your life so you can make room for the new one. Step 3, low-risk experiments. Don't try to fix everything today. Pick one small thing, a class, a phone call, a budget tweak, and just see what happens. Step 4, find your enough. Identify what you need to be safe today and secure tomorrow. If your own savings isn't there yet, strategic resourcefulness is your bridge. Use the tools and services built to help you so you can stop worrying about the what ifs. I have a new friend, Judith, who looked into resources that were available to her, and she was able to have a little house built just for her. If you'd like to learn more about her story, she has a YouTube channel, The Tangerine Door. I'll leave her channel link in the description below. Oh, and do me a favor. Just tell her that Dana sent you. I'm giving you these steps because I want you to have the tools, but more than that, I want to give you hope. I was scared and unsure of what my future would be. I reinvented this version of myself. You can do the same. You aren't starting from scratch. You're starting from experience. When I was 55, I felt my life was out of my control, but I've discovered we can learn and grow at any age. My goal is simply to give you hope that you can have your own purpose that is unique to just you. If you'd like to see more of my journey of reinvention and starting over, check out my playlist somewhere over here. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you find wellness today and every day. See you next time.